Hello. For the World War II required background reading, start with the role of the Treaty of Versailles in the cause of World War II. At the end of World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was created by the powerful nations of the Allied powers to build and structure a system of world peace. Unfortunately, that very treaty led many dictators and nations to take actions into their own hands. On the eastern side of the world, Japan rejected a racial equality agreement that was proposed in the Treaty of Versailles. Japan wanted to rid Asia of Western influences as they saw themselves as the most powerful in that area. The Treaty of Versailles also outlined specific actions Germany had to take, such as losing land and parts of their military. When Hitler took power in Germany, he directly defied this order and started rearming the German military. They also invaded the Rhineland, which was part of the land that they had lost due to the treaty. So then what was going on in Spain? Much like the city of Shanghai, Spain was open to Jewish migration from Nazi Germany. When France fell to Nazi Germany in 1940, Jewish citizens were looking to flee the Nazi regime and reach other nations. Spain kept their borders open to allow Jewish citizens to have temporary refuge or pass through Spain to the ports to have access to other countries through the water. Impact on colonial possessions and territories. In 1935, Benito Mussolini led Italy to invade Ethiopia to further his promise to revive Italian glory. Britain and France did not want to confront Mussolini, so they undermined the League of Nations, which had disapproved of the colonization, and allowed Italy to absorb Ethiopia. Britain and France did the same thing for Germany when they invaded the Rhineland. Neither Britain nor France saw it as extremely hostile and wanted to avoid the start of another war. Germany then moved into Austria, where people voted for union with Germany. Hitler also set his sights on the Sudetenland, an area of Czechoslovakia which had its own Nazi party growing. The Munich Pact was created by Germany, France, Britain, and Italy. It outlined that Czechoslovakia granted territory to Germany, Poland, and Hungary in an attempt to please Hitler and avoid another war. Mao Zedong's version of Marxism and communism. Mao Zedong took the ideas from Karl Marx and communism and adapted them into Chinese culture. Mao would utilize China's peasant population in rural areas as the basis of his revolution. He would unite the rural population and stage a long-term rural mobilization, moving inwards towards the cities. So then what happened to Poland? In August 1939, less than 1 month before the official start of World War II, Germany and the Soviet Union created the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. The pact outlined the division of Eastern Europe into territories controlled by Germany and the Soviet Union. This pact also stated that Germany and the USSR would agree not to attack each other or to assist other nations in attacking the other nation. This helped Germany by fixing its mistake from World War I of fighting on two fronts. Now Germany has an ally on the east, on the other side of Poland, that they can rely on. Britain saw this pact as a clear signal of invasion of Poland, so they signed a defense agreement with Poland. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, and Britain and France fulfilled their agreement by declaring war on Germany back. About 2 weeks later, the USSR invaded Poland from the east, and Poland was crushed by two global powerhouses. This began the horror that was World War II. Emphasis on increasing birth rates. When men went off to fight in World War II, many women stepped in to fill the places in the workplace that were left empty. This left a severe decline in the amount of births as women were not able to take care of children. Therefore, both the Axis and Allied powers emphasized the importance of high birth rates during and after the war. In Germany, birth control was outlawed, and the Nazi regime promoted schemes to increase marriages and births. The Soviet Union instituted financial incentives for having 2 or more children in 1944. In Japan, abortion and sterilization were banned in 1940, where women were encouraged to marry young have many children, and fulfill their natural role as mothers. For the Allied powers, in Britain and the United States, women were encouraged to think of all jobs as war jobs. Women took up agricultural jobs, frontline jobs, and industrial jobs in place of the men who had gone to war. Millions of women participated in the war effort. The end of the war also saw the baby boom that occurred once soldiers returned home. So the final outcome. Germany surrendered to the Allies on May 8, 1945, marking the official end of World War II. At the end of the war, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin met to discuss the outcome for all nations. They agreed that all invaded nations would have their governments restored, and that all displaced citizens would be repatriated. Germany was to demilitarize, denazify, and make reparations. German prisoners of war would work in agriculture and forced labor, while Nazi criminals were brought to justice. Germany was also divided into 4 occupied zones. The U.S. ended the war with dropping the first nuclear bomb on Hiroshima in 1945, followed up by Nagasaki. Thank you.